Alright, so what we have here is a Casablanca Century, or Century 9000. The Century 9000 is one of Casablanca's attempts at reproducing antique-era ceiling fans, this one being of the Century Fan Company's standard 60-inch fan, arguably one of the most powerful fans ever produced. This is not Casablanca's first reproduction attempt. The earliest was the Victorian, which copies the Emerson Fernleaf. That was their earliest back in 1975 or 1976. The Columbia 2 copies the Emerson CF28. The Broadway or Commodore Vanderbilt copies the some sort of old Dayton. There might be a couple others, but I don't remember them off the top of my head right now. But yeah, this copies the Century. It's the most obvious because the name is literally the same, minus the 9000. The reason 9000 is in the name, for whatever reason, Casablanca, they put the model number, which for the Century it's 9, followed by 3 numbers that denote the finish code, which this one in particular is 9444, 9 meaning Century and 4 meaning antique brass. The zeros were just placeholders. They did that, Casablanca, they did that for 2 different fans. They did it for the Century and the Slumber Quiet Cambridge, which was, on the tag it said Cambridge 13,000. 13 is the number for Cambridge, and then the 3 numbers after it means the finish. 262 for white and bright brass, 222 for bright brass, and 444 for antique brass, and in the rare possibility of 464 or 646 for white and antique brass, but I believe it's the former. So let's get a closer look at this fan. I might have a little trouble showing the tag because the camera's on a tripod. This tassel here is not original to the fan, but it is genuine Casablanca. You'll notice this blade arm here is a little bit darker than the other 3. That's because this came with a snapped blade arm. And I've had this for about 2 years. The existing walnut blades are not in the best shape. 2 of them in particular are not in good shape. This K4L is not original. The original K4 was mangled. And this K4L and this downrod came off of a Victorian that I parted out a while ago. Let's see if I can show you the tag without hitting the shades. I can't see what you guys are seeing, but I'm hoping that that's showing. If not, I'll attach a picture at the end of the video. Yep, this is a Slumber Quiet unit, obviously, because it's from 1981. Let me make sure that we're all fine and dandy here. I'm going to turn this camera around, or the screen around, so I can get over here and actually operate this thing. Alright, looking good. Looking good, alright. So, like I said, Slumber Quiet does work, thankfully. The light fixture right now has 4 store-bought, small, clear, incandescent bulbs. Nothing too fancy. Start the fan off as slow as it can go. Sometimes it does stall, but I think that depends on how much draw is going on this circuit of the house. Because, you know, the low speed of Slumber Quiet is very slow, as you can see. Got this off of Craigslist in Ellicott City, Maryland, about want to say a little over 2 years ago now, I think it was. Most recently, I got a Victorian antique brass slumber quiet from the same seller. I kept his number because he showed me a picture of the Victorian that I now have. He showed me a picture of it when I picked this century up, and I kept his number just in case that he ever wanted to sell it, and he did. It sat out on his back porch, so it was completely covered in pollen. I actually got it about that Victorian. I got it about maybe 11 months ago now. That one I have not tested yet. We'll go ahead and we'll turn this up just a little bit. And actually, I'll sit down for this. I'm sure you guys don't want my fat torso showing. Or blocking the camera, rather. Let's turn it up just a little bit there. You will notice, I believe, the light kit is not completely symmetrical, I suppose. The Allen wrench that that this takes, that the sockets and the arms take at the switch housing, that Allen key fell into oblivion, and I cannot find it anywhere because my room is a complete mess right now, and I have multiple projects going at once. So I need to get a new one. So some of them are hanging a little loose or they're a little crooked. I tried to center them best I could, but it's not perfect. This does have a very, very slight motor hum. You might be able to notice it. Well, probably not because it's on the camera, but maybe you'll be able to notice it as it gets faster. And if there's any background noises like dogs barking or birds chirping, I do apologize for that. The air conditioning in the house is off and my window's open, and it's way too hot for me to not have any ventilation going in here. And obviously I need the other fans off for this video, so, you know, not a very good workaround besides the window. Turn this up just a little bit more. Today's also Easter. Obviously this video is not going up on Easter. I think this video is coming out at some point in May. So a happy belated Easter to those of you who do celebrate Easter. I actually think this is the second fan I've gotten that has working slumber quiet. Coincidentally, the first fan that I got that had working slumber quiet was the Bright Brass Century from 1984. This does have a little bit of a wobble to it. I tried to balance the blades as best as I could, but it is very hard to balance these brackets and the Lady Delta brackets without breaking them. I will say, for as good as Casablanca was during this era, the blade arm quality was not that great. It's just crap pot metal, so... Especially when it's that thin, it's not super durable when trying to balance them. I could use washers, but it's not practical, at least for this scenario. Let me turn it up just a little bit more. From this point forward, you'll notice the wobble. And I'm really hoping that the camera does not develop any focusing issues. If it does, and I have not noticed them, apologies for that. And of course, the people on the other side of the woods have to start mowing their lawn right now. Even though I said this thing stalls, it has excellent bearings. They are in great shape. Seems like the bearings of vented K55s, from 1988 and onward, those had worse bearing quality. But it might be just my experience with them. I'll turn this up just a little more. This is a decent medium speed, what we have going right now. Getting close to high now. There goes the focusing. Again, I do apologize for that. This camera is not the greatest, but it does its job well. The focusing is just, oh, there it goes. Just not great. That's the only downside. See, there it goes again. And that's high speed. I will say I did do a pretty decent job balancing this thing. The wobble was a lot worse before I tried to balance it, so clap and a half for me. Runs beautifully. Really, really good. Flawless. Motor hum drowns out as this as the wind noise picks up. Alright, so that is a 1981 Casablanca Century 9000 in antique brass. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.